For over 800 years, the Great Hall behind me has been witness to all manner of human imperfections and emotions. So where exactly am I? Find out in just a moment. Today's house hunters are birds of a feather, seeking a new place together.
I think it's a nice nest.
A nest? See, that sounds good. You know,
Yeah.
That sounds like a home. But will any of our three houses rule the roost?
This is dangerously good.
Whoa, OK. We're heading hikes now. Today, I'm in the East Midlands, in the Rutland market town of Oakham, and behind me is Oakham Castle. Not only is it one of the finest examples of Norman architecture in the country, but it's also the longest-running seat of justice in England. Originally a manor house, records of a law court held here go back as far as 1208. The castle is still in use to this very day, with the Crown Court held here every 2 years. The East Midlands region is made up of 6 separate English counties, with a coastline looking out over the North Sea. The low-lying county of Lincolnshire is largely agricultural and dedicated to arable crops, from potatoes to wheat. This eastern part of the region also includes areas of the Fens, a marshy landscape mostly lying a few metres from sea level, and is a haven for birdlife. Lincolnshire also has some great architectural hotspots, notably in the town of Stamford, home to many 17th and 18th century stone buildings. As well as showcasing the local limestone and ironstone, houses often feature Collie Western stone slate roofs. Rutland may be the smallest county in England, but you'll find one of the largest artificial lakes in Europe here. Rutland Water is a well-known site for water sports, hiking and cycling, as well as being a nature reserve. The 82 arches of the Welland Viaduct span a valley linking Rutland and Northamptonshire. Completed in 1878, it's the longest masonry viaduct in Britain, constructed from an estimated 20 million bricks. So, from impressive natural landscapes to magnificent man-made feats, the East Midlands has a lot to offer country escapees. I come from this part of the world, so I may be biased, but I think the East Midlands offers excellent value for money when you consider its varied landscape and great transport links to the rest of the UK and beyond. Take the average price of a detached property. Here, across the 6 counties of the East Midlands, it stands at under £250,000. That's a massive 27% below the English average. But be warned, those prices climb rapidly in the county of Rutland, that has recently been voted one of the most desirable rural places to live in the UK. So why are today's buyers looking to relocate to this part of the world? Let's meet them and find out. Husband and wife Richard and Mary met through their jobs in the motor industry. 3 decades later, they're now retired and have spent the last few years living in North Wales, caring for Mary's mother. Sadly, she has now passed away. Although they regard their current location as fairly rural, it certainly doesn't give them the country lifestyle they've dreamt of.
Running through the village is a main road which is becoming very, very heavy traffic. In the summertime, it's coaches upon coaches upon coaches. So the tranquility of the village is dying. Most importantly, we want this sort of cosy feeling of living in the country.
More importantly, they'd also like to be nearer to family.
We have 5 children. 5 children, 9 grandchildren. At the moment, we're too far away. And there is a general feeling that we need, as a family, to be closer. Our children, Mary's children and my eldest son, live in the Midlands. They've said, you're in your late 70s, come near to us, but not too near.
So they've decided to sell up and move to the region that offers them just what they're looking for, the East Midlands.
We feel we will come to an area somewhere near Rutland where we will settle down and enjoy that community.
What we want to do is enter into the life of a rural environment, but but with some access to canals or lakes or reservoirs where we can see and enjoy water.
And also, you've got the fens as well, which we've never been on, which we want to go on to.
What I'm really looking forward to is having more contact with the children as they're growing up. We will see them and get to do more things with them.
And there's another member of the family who they think will appreciate the move.
We have a dog, a border collie, and her name is Caddy. And particularly in that area, there are great areas of farming land you can walk over. She will enjoy it, and I will enjoy it.
So, having earmarked their location, it all comes down to the tricky job of finding the right house.
What we're looking forward to is finding our forever home and knowing that it's our forever home.
It will be a nest that we will enjoy for the rest of our lives.
Richard and Mary would like to focus the house hunt around the county of Rutland. But before I show them any properties, we're meeting up in their chosen search area to discuss what elements they want to see in their new home.
Welcome both of you to the East Midlands. Now, family and most importantly, grandchildren are at the heart of this relocation.
Exactly.
How close would you like to be?
3/4 of an hour.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need to be next door.
No.
We understand that's a bad thing.
So it seems, even though I suppose you'd be prepared to live anywhere in the East Midlands, Rutland is a pretty central position for you. Trouble is, Rutland, not a cheap place to live, is it? I take it you don't want a sprawling load of property to have to look after, do you?
You don't want a big garden. You don't want a very big garden because everything grows.
Yes, quite.
But as gardening is part of my enjoyment, I like to have a good-sized garden.
Well, there's the balance. You want to go travelling, and so
Yes.
you've got this maintenance issue going on.
We
haven't you?
have, so there'll have to be a very good, cheap gardener about.
OK, let's talk about this house.
We would like a house, if possible, built of the local stone.
OK.
We would like a very big farmhouse kitchen.
So you want
Yes.
that nice hub of the home, I get that, OK. But I suppose you'd like the grandchildren to stay overnight as well, wouldn't you, on occasion?
Oh, exactly.
So how big does this house need to be?
We would like 3 usable bedrooms, no more. Getting to our age, we do need to downsize this time, so there's going to be no argument about big houses.
You're
I tell
talking
you.
to me, and I know that conversation is supposed to be going over here, isn't it? What about the position of the house? Where would you like it to be?
We would like to be in a larger village where you have facilities of perhaps a shop and a local pub.
Lots of dog walking with your collie around the area, another opportunity to meet people. Let's talk budget. How much are you looking to spend?
Our budget is maximum £450,000.
Right.
And we're working with the objective of downsizing.
I'll switch the record off.
Ready to go?
Yes.
Ready to go.
Let's go.
For a maximum budget of £450,000, Richard and Mary would like their property to be built from local stone with a large farmhouse-style kitchen as a central hub for visiting family. They'd like at least 3 bedrooms, and Mary would like a generous amount of garden. It should be located in a village with amenities, close to countryside walks. We've got 3 wonderful options to show them, all with their requirements in mind. After each viewing, they'll be getting the price before I reveal it. The final property is our mystery offering, which may not be quite what they asked for, but could well be just what they need. We're starting our East Midlands search in Lincolnshire in the small village of Hanthorpe. Lying on the western edge of the fens, half a mile away, facilities in the larger village of Morton include a post office and shop, as well as a pub. Morton's parish church has been described as a miniature cathedral, which is really enhanced by its rural setting. And local footpaths here make it a lovely area for enjoyable country rambles. Back in Hanthorpe, the property we've come to see is next to a farm and located on the edge of the village.
So property number 1 is this house here.
I hadn't reckoned on a 3-storey house.
No.
I'm not sure about carrying a Hoover up from the bottom to the top, but I love the stonework and the colouring.
Anyway, he's going to carry the Hoover.
Yes.
I think it's a nice stone house and plenty of room to park a car.
We sound very positive about this so far.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Let's go inside.
Right,
Thank you.
let's go.
Built from local limestone within the last decade, this three-storey property may be modern, but has Georgian-like features, starting with a grand stone pillared entrance into a hall, which then opens into the first reception room.
Ah,
Yes.
reasonable size.
Yes, I like the doors out into the garden.
Yes.
If there's only going to be two of us here most of the time, this would be adequate.
Yes. It feels pleasant, and there's good light in here.
Just through the other side of the hallway, you've got a very small snug.
That's where we will spend most of our time when we're on our own.
It starts to sound like it's lending itself toward your downsized life over here.
Yes.
Well, that's right. Now we're talking snug.
Yeah.
Then that, for me, brings the cosy influence in.
OK. Starts making it less of a house, more of a home.
Yes.
Exactly.
So the little and large flexibility of the rooms has got us off to a good start. On our way to the kitchen, there are more examples of how the interior of this property has been well thought through.
You've got a utility, a larder,
Yes.
leading then into this kitchen area here.
You don't have a larder in many houses these days.
Not anymore.
Very unusual.
Yeah. Where do you stand on that? Would you like one?
Oh,
or-
definitely.
Keep everything cool. Yes. I love the colours
Excellent.
of the paintwork. I like the range cooker, and the work surfaces look hard-wearing timber.
Yeah. And whilst you do have a separate dining room, it is just off the kitchen.
It is a good solution.
Yeah.
Because somebody can be talking quite easily. You don't have to have a trolley to take it in there.
I'm building a wonderful picture in my mind.
Yeah.
Onward and upward then. Let's go and have a look at some of the bedrooms.
Thank you.
Reached by a staircase in the hall, the six-bedroom accommodation is arranged over two further floors. On the top floor, two good-sized guest bedrooms are set into the eaves, and both benefit from dormer windows and skylights. One is currently used for storage, but has plenty of space for a double or even twin beds. This floor also includes a WC. Whilst below, on the middle floor, are four further bedrooms. To the front of the home, there's a guest double with a shower room, which can act as an ensuite or be accessed from the landing. There's also a family bathroom with rolled-top bath and a guest bedroom which looks out over the rear garden, as well as a further guest bedroom facing the front. That leaves bedroom number 6, the largest on offer at the back of the house.
This is your master,
this
with an
is
ensuite
lovely.
as well.
Yes, got
Love the
wardrobe.
vaulted ceiling.
Looks nice.
I love the lighting too.
Yes.
Very original.
And bright and light.
Outside, I think, for you, Mary, isn't it?
I reckon it is.
Come on, then.
Thank you.
A good reaction to the versatile layout on the inside, and outside, their requested south-facing garden is surrounded by a high brick wall giving safe play areas for their collie dog or visiting grandchildren. Although it's low maintenance, the question is whether Mary is willing to prioritise practicalities over her love of gardening.
This I find is a very neat and tidy and very manageable garden. But unfortunately, I see this as being a little small.
I'm sure that Mary could easily come to like it because as we travel so much, it's something we could leave quite easily.
OK, then how much do we think this house is on the market for?
I think it'd be about 405,000.
OK, Richard?
I would say about 425.
OK. This house is on the market for offers above £399,995. I spoke to the owner in person this morning. They've had a few offers on it, and he said he'd be looking for something actually in excess of £390,000. Well, I think this has been a very good start. Why don't you go back into the house now, as this is your first foray into this part of the world? So I'll catch you, if you like, out of the front of the house in half an hour or so.
Okay.
Thank
Off
you.
go. Well, a pretty solid start. I think we're starting to learn that practicalities are very important to Richard, but the garden is extremely important to Mary.
On the market for £50,000 under their top budget, this recently built 3-storey detached stone house offers a country kitchen and 3 further reception rooms. There is flexible accommodation and a total of 6 bedrooms, plus a south-facing garden and an edge of village location.
When we first approached it, it looked very lovely. Made of stone, it was obviously new, and the whole house feels warm.
It's a very adaptable house. Its rooms can be used for practically anything and can be extended into bedrooms if you so wish. We could move into it straight away, which is a big plus point.
All done inside and out, both of you?
It was all excellent, thank you very much.
All excellent. Well, I'll take the rest of the day off then, shall I? You want to see more houses though, don't you?
Definitely.
Come with me.
The fertile landscape of the East Midlands makes it an attractive region for both farmers and wildlife. But agriculture and native flora and fauna can have competing interests. Over the past 25 years, loss of natural habitats has seen woodland bird populations drop by 20%. So, 5th-generation Fenland farmer Nicholas Watts decided to make the interests of native birds his own, and is now the largest producer of wild birdseed in the country. Richard and Mary are keen to learn more about the natural environment in this part of the world, so we've sent them to meet Nicholas on his 2,500-acre farm.
Well, welcome, Mary. Welcome, Richard, to Vinehouse Farm.
Where did your interest in birds and wildlife stem from?
Well, my interest really stems back from when I was a toddler, and I was interested in birds then. And in the late 70s, I was helping the Lincolnshire Bird Club and the British Trust for Ornithology to survey our breeding birds in Lincolnshire and around. But by 1992, I realised there'd been a big drop in numbers, and that worried me. So I started doing things for wildlife. We started feeding the birds in the farmyards, and we had so many come, it was a spectacle. So I organised an open day for people to come and see the spectacle, up to 800 finches and buntings in the farmyard at any one time. And at that open day, people asked me if I could sell them some bird food. So there we were, selling bird food without even trying. We now grow about 400 acres of seed for feeding wild birds.
Are you seeing a growth in the number of birds you see on your farm?
Yes, we are. We've had success with barn owls, whitethroats, reed warblers and tree sparrows especially.
Nicholas's work for the wild birds of the Fens is ongoing. As well as providing a source of seed, he creates nesting sites, putting up over 100 nest boxes for tree sparrows alone, all of which are regularly inspected.
So in this bird box, what do we have?
Well, this is a tree sparrow that's on its 4th brood, and we're expecting them to fly any day.
The chicks typically fledge 16 days after hatching, and the diet the parents are able to provide in that time is vital.
Every bird must take its young moist food, and that moist food is either unripe seeds or insects. As soon as they come out of the nest, they can go and eat dry seeds and then go for a drink. But they can't go for a drink in the nest, of course.
To encourage the all-important insect life, Nicholas provides ponds and leaves wide field margins. It's all part of an environmentally aware approach known as extensive farming.
So do you think there's a viable interaction between the wildlife and the farming?
Well, intensive farming is bad for wildlife. Extensive farming is good for wildlife, but unfortunately in the UK we practice intensive farming.
A favourite with the tree sparrows is red millet, but the farm also grows white millet, canary seed and naked oats. However, the most popular food by far are the black sunflower seeds. With around 10,000 plants per acre, spanning 100 acres, Nicholas estimates there are 1 million flowers now in bloom.
So what makes the sunflower seeds so attractive to the birds?
Because it's so rich in oil and protein. Just as simple as that. You know, if you're going to fly like they do and have the energy that they do, you've got to have some good food to produce that energy.
Are all birds interested in sunflower seeds?
No. One notable bird is the yellowhammer. It
No,
likes
thank you.
wheat
Really?
and millet.
Yeah. So the majority of birds, 9 out of 10, like sunflower.
Yes.
And that's why you do it.
It's heartening to see such efforts being made here to support local bird life. But it's time to return to our search for a suitable nest for Richard and Mary here in the East Midlands countryside. We're moving into Rutland and the village of Langham. A couple of miles away, the town of Oakham has a wide range of shops and amenities, as well as a twice-weekly market held close to the old Buttercross, an open octagonal building historically used for selling dairy produce. Back in Langham, the village has not one but 2 pubs, located opposite each other. Its church is a wonderful example of medieval architecture in the Gothic style. Now, Richard and Mary have asked to be within a community, so they should be pleased to discover that the village hall, hosting a variety of clubs and events, is located right on the doorstep of the house we've come to see.
First impressions, Mary?
Yeah, I like it.
Do
I
you?
really like it, yes. It's got a bit of character about it.
I think it's a nice nest.
A nest, see, that sounds good. But, you know,
Yeah.
that sounds like a home. We're told some of it may well have dated back to the 1600s, with
see.
much more modern extensions. And one of those modern extensions is where I want to take you first. Come with me.
A great response to the exterior of this heart of village home. But the property has recently been tenanted and is currently vacant. So I'm hoping Richard and Mary will be inspired to use their imaginations as we start our tour in the kitchen and living space that has been added to the rear of the home.
I love the double doors out and the range, of course, big plus. I can see our 8-seater table going over there. I like the vaulted ceiling, gives a feeling of space.
They've given you your sort of dining farmhouse kitchen that you're
Definitely.
after. And I think you'd probably spend a lot of time in this room, especially in the mornings, open those double doors out.
And eat outside.
Yeah.
We could live in here quite comfortably.
Well, you'll be pleased that there are other parts of the house you can live in as well.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, it's got rooms and everything. Let me show you.
At the far end of the kitchen, there's also a useful pantry and utility area, whilst at the other end is a dining room. Then, back through a large entrance hall, we find a further reception room.
Is that a wood-burning stove I see?
It is indeed.
We like wood-burning stoves. Looks very good. It'll be very nice. You keep the house warm at night.
We do need a study.
Oh, look no further, Mary. Through that door there. That's your study.
Oh, yes.
That would make a good study.
Well, I'm glad this is going so well. This could be a rather nice home, couldn't it?
Yes, yes.
Good. Let's go upstairs. I'll show you the bedrooms.
Thank you.
Well, a positive reaction to the potential offered by this currently unfurnished home. And upstairs, there are 4 bedrooms served by a family bathroom and an additional shower room. Once again, this floor requires some creative thinking. Whilst none of the bedrooms currently offer an ensuite, the largest to the front of the home has scope to be remodelled to incorporate that shower room, giving Mary and Richard their ideal master.
What do you think, then?
Yes, it's a possible. And I'm glad the ceilings are high.
And it's quiet.
Isn't it just? Bear in mind, you're right in the centre of the village.
Yeah.
Yes.
One thing that maybe House and One didn't stack up to was the need for a bigger garden. And I think this place has one just the right size. Let me show you that now.
They seem really fired up about how they could adapt this property to make it work for them. Outside, there is a garage as well as gardens to the front and back. The rear garden is enclosed and includes a brick outbuilding and timber shed and offers Mary plenty of scope to make her mark.
Now, garden size-wise, there's room for a bit of growing, isn't there, if you want to?
Yes, a lot could be done with this garden. Lengthwise, it's fine.
Excellent.
Yes.
Apart from one thing. We haven't discussed price yet, have we?
We have not discussed price.
How much do you think this house is on the market for, then, Richard?
My guess is, as it stands, about 380.
I would say £400,000.
Well, I'm afraid this will be an education for you both. This place is on the market for offers above £450,000. The agents are telling us there's a deal to be done here.
Yes.
I think my wife likes it.
Excellent.
And if she likes it, I will like it.
This is good news. Well, look, you need to go back into the house. Take your time here, and I will meet you whenever you are done.
Thank you very much.
See you in a moment.
Yep.
See you.
Good.
Well, this has gone very, very well. Whoever buys this house will have to spend a bit of money on it, but it is a glorious house in a fantastic village location. It could be the one for them.
Sitting at the top of their budget, this detached period cottage comes with a large kitchen diner and 3 further reception rooms. There are 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, plus a good-sized garden, all in the centre of a pretty Rutland village.
This is a nice sunny room.
I think it's going to make a nice study.
This house is a typical cottage house in a village and is exactly what we are looking for.
I was quite surprised when I came in the house. I did like it from the outside, but it is rather like the TARDIS. And when we were shown into the kitchen here with its vaulted roof, really this is a girl's dream, isn't it? I could see myself living here, and Richard too.
It will make a lovely home, and I think we will enjoy living here.
Well, Mary, I think that's gone all very well, hasn't it?
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, excellent. So something maybe to consider over a glass of wine tonight then, Richard?
Definitely, if you're paying it.
I was going to say, I thought you'd never ask. Come on, then, I'll take you back.
Let's go.
I'm in the East Midlands, helping Richard and Mary from Conwy in Wales find their dream home, closer to family for their budget of £450,000. We've already seen 2 great options, but there's still the mystery house to come, which could lead to a shocking reaction.
I could work and live in this tonight.
Oh,
Plus, I'm checking out a revolutionary waterway on my home turf in Leicestershire.
That's it. Oh, hello, it's a bit more of work for this. That one's slightly heavy because it's got water behind it.
well, it looks like house number 2 is the property to beat. Now, that is the challenge for today's mystery house. For Mary and Richard, I think the real challenge for them with this property is its configuration, both inside and out. But if they're able to see through this, they'll be rewarded with a property in a fantastic, thriving community. So the mystery house is on the menu this morning.
We like to hear all about this mystery house.
Well, guess what? I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
It is a prefab.
Yeah. Is that what you want? You want a prefabricated house? Well, this could be your lucky day, Richard.
It could be.
Our final property is in Middleton, a Northamptonshire village close to the border with Leicestershire. It's just a 5-minute walk to the neighbouring village of Cottingham, where I want to introduce Richard and Mary to the community they can expect to find here.
We stopped here because I thought this was a fantastic place to walk up to with a dog every morning and get a fresh cup of coffee. It's a community-owned shop, and apart from 2 part-time staff who do the papers in the morning, everybody here is a volunteer.
For volunteering work, I wouldn't mind popping in there for a few hours.
Oh, excellent. A good way of getting to know the locals,
People.
isn't it?
It's a pub, nearly.
Yeah, it probably does. It has the community function that a pub used to have.
Yep.
Although there's a pub just up the hill there that's just been refurbished, and in Middleton, the village where your house is, which is just a few hundred metres that way, there's also a pub there as well.
Sounds good.
So the location offers Mary and Richard those village connections they're after. And it's a short stroll to Middleton, where I can reveal today's mystery offering.
So we were guessing what the mystery house might look like in the car. Guess no more. Here we are. What do we think?
I love the colourings.
It's a very nice-looking building.
It is. Yes, I like it.
So first impressions, we rather like this.
I do indeed. Yes.
Should we look inside?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Built around 15 years ago from local limestone and slate, the main living accommodation of the mystery house sits above garaging and storage and is reached using external stairs. The lobby leads round into a large kitchen and living space at the front of the home, which also opens into a garden room.
Of all the kitchens, I think this is probably the most suitable for you, Mary.
I could work and live in this tonight.
Oh!
You don't often hear Mary say that.
Wow!
No, very, very interesting. I like it.
You're moving to this part of the world because you want the ability to entertain your family and friends. You have that here, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. We can expand anybody around here. We wouldn't have to adapt anything.
Right.
It's all here. What a lovely view out of the washing up area. And I like the flooring.
Good.
Easy to keep.
Well, this has gone down very well. I know you do want a separate living area or a snug. Let me show you what we've got in mind. Thank you, sir. Now, I think this is perfect size for a snug. What do you say, Richard?
This is dangerously good.
Whoa, OK. We're heading heights now.
Dangerously good.
This is sleeping country.
Yes.
This
Not
is
to be in here before 7:30 in the evening, I tell you.
Oh, really?
No, going to have a notice on like no entry.
Right, is that because you're being here snoozing away?
You're right.
Again, we could walk in here. It's beautifully decorated and to our taste.
Well, so far, so good. Let me take you upstairs and show you the bedrooms on offer. Come with me.
A great response to those living areas. And completing this floor is something of a bonus, a self-contained suite comprising additional open-plan living space. This includes a kitchenette plus a double bedroom, the first of 4 in this property, which comes with its own walk-in shower room. This could be a great facility for guests. But the remainder of the bedrooms are on the upper floor. Along a corridor complete with built-in wardrobes, the first bedroom is a well-proportioned double with dormer window. Next to this is a similarly configured guest double. Whilst at the end of the corridor, there's a family bathroom with twin basins, offering pleasant country views. This sits beside bedroom number 4, their potential master.
I can't decide, Richard, whether you dislike this room so much you're scared to come in.
I'm not worried about it. What I like, it's quiet. No problem at all here. You could walk into this property.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing to do.
You can adapt as the months go on, can't you? But
okay.
there's nothing unsavoury that would hit your sight and say, I've got to change that today.
No, OK, all right, that's it, that's good. Let's go out to the garden, because I know you're always keen to see what outside space is available.
So far, the layout and finish of the Mystery House are getting pleasing responses. On the ground level, there are double garages and a gravel driveway providing plenty of parking. But it's time to reveal just why this is today's Mystery House. The rear garden here is compact. However, it is south-facing and provides raised beds along with an area of lawn and a patio.
Now, of course, mystery houses often come with a compromise. The compromise here is Mary's in particular, I think, and that's the size of garden.
Yes, but this space has been utilised well, but it doesn't give you very far to throw a ball for a dog.
Much smaller than we would actually like, but maybe we have to compromise in some way.
OK, let's guess the price of this mystery house. How much do you think this property's on the market for?
I would put it somewhere between 390 and 410.
OK.
I would go higher than that. I'd go up to £420,000.
OK. Well, the owners are currently seeking offers around £445,000.
I'm not surprised.
I've spoken to the owners of this place. I met them in person, and they say a deal can be done. So I think you should spend a bit of time here, have a walk around all the other rooms, and I'll meet you whenever you've finished, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Catch you in a moment. Interesting, isn't it? There's a small compromise of the garden, and I suppose if you're retired, you're going to spend a lot of time here, but the way they've reacted to this house, I think this could edge property number 2. We'll see.
Coming in under budget, our mystery stone and slate house offers visitor-friendly accommodation with a large open-plan kitchen and living room with an additional snug. As well as 3 double bedrooms, there's also a 1-bedroom annex. What's more, it's in a village, so they have community, facilities and country walks on their doorstep.
The mystery house was a pleasant surprise. I feel very comfortable in the house.
It felt a nice nest. It had the type of rooms we were looking for, a large kitchen, breakfast room or dining area linked together.
We enjoyed the colours. We enjoy the snug that you can have in addition to the dining kitchen. Very light and bright. The garden has been very well laid out. It's a lot smaller than I would have liked, but there's plenty to do as far as gardening is concerned.
If the price was right, we would be very keen to make an offer.
Well, that's it. No more houses. I've run out of properties, Richard.
You haven't?
I'm afraid so. You're going to have to make your mind up now. So how about I find you somewhere to have a bit of a chinwag and we'll catch up after that, yeah?
Very good idea.
Come on, then.
Much of the East Midlands terrain is given over to farming, but it also has strong links to the Industrial Revolution, being home to the world's first factory, Derbyshire's Arkwright Mill. To fuel the growth in manufacturing, ferrying coal from the collieries of Leicestershire and Nottinghamshire became a priority. So canal networks were developed as key transportation corridors. The Grand Union Canal, linking Birmingham and London, is the longest in the country, showcasing impressive feats of engineering. One fine example is in Foxton, Leicestershire, where I'm meeting local historian Mike Beach, who's going to tell me about Britain's longest set of staircase locks.
Lovely spot, a place I've been before, but I don't know a great deal of the history about Foxton Locks. When was it all built then?
Starting in the late 1700s, they started to build the canal in this direction. It was 1814 by the time these finally opened, and this formed the final link going off to London. It was the internet of the day, really. And it's also because the motorway system of that era. Tried various routes. You imagine wandering around on a horse looking for the best place to put a canal. They got to this hill and decided that one flight of locks here, climbing 75 feet, 10 locks, big ponds at the side to conserve the water.
It's a fantastic system that in its 19th century heyday served around 40 boats a day, each laden with up to 20 tonnes of coal. But with the advent of the railways, canal cargo went into decline. Fortunately, by the time the last commercial boats worked this route in the 1960s, narrowboating was a burgeoning leisure activity. It continues to this day. Volunteer lockkeeper Robin Tomlinson helps the boats pass through this stack of locks.
There's a real need to preserve the water going up and down these flights of locks, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Talk me through that.
So on each lock, we have a red paddle and a white paddle, and what the red paddle does will draw water out of that side pound into the lock here, so effectively bringing the water level up.
Yeah.
And then when we open the white paddle, it's emptying the water out of there back into that same pound.
Can we have a go at that now?
Absolutely. Right, so what you'll need here is a windlass, which is this here.
Yeah.
Place the smallest hole onto the spindle there. Make sure this is on here, which is sort of a safety catch, it's called a pawl.
Yeah.
Wind that paddle all the way up.
Opening the red paddle draws water from the side pond. This water will now be replaced when another lock is emptied. Now we can open the white paddle.
Oh, hello, it's a bit more work for this. That one's slightly heavy because it's got water behind it.
What sort of volume are we talking about?
It's about 35,000 gallons in each lock.
35,000 gallons,
Yeah,
goodness
so
me.
when you're moving through the 10 locks, you will have moved 350,000 gallons of water. But when you're bringing a boat down, because you're effectively replacing it each time,
Yeah.
you only use the equivalent of one lock full of water.
What strikes me is whenever I'm lucky enough to get involved with anything that was built around the Industrial Revolution and how well it works and operates even today. I mean,
Absolutely.
that felt so slick because I suppose they were engineered to be serviceable as well.
Oh, and of course, this was a working site. So these were, commercially, they had to work. But the actual way it operates is exactly the same as it did 200 years ago. This was an industrial site. It wasn't what it is now.
It takes around 45 minutes to pass through the flight of locks in either direction. But queuing can be a different story. On a busy bank holiday, the wait can be up to 5 hours. Still, with surroundings this pleasant, hanging about is all part of the enjoyment.
The one thing about canal boating for me is, I've done it a couple of times, you can go on a canal a mile from your house and you're in a completely different environment. You can be in a different part of the world almost, can't you?
Oh, very much so. I mean, I love doing it. You know, you wake up, you're looking at a cow through the window.
And there's loads of pubs along the canals as well. It's a lovely weekend away there. Yeah. Well, it looks like you've got plenty of traffic going on. Can we help some more people today?
Absolutely, yeah, right.
Well, what a perfect way to unwind in my old stomping ground of the East Midlands. And now, time to find out if any of the houses we viewed here float Richard and Mary's boat.
Well, I think for Richard and Mary, house number 1 is out of the running. But for the life of me, I can't decide which of the last 2 properties we showed them will be coming out on top. So let's meet up with them and find out their thoughts. Well, I think it's fair to say we've had some fun these past couple of days, haven't we?
We have enjoyed your company very much indeed.
Well, that's a first. Normally at this part, I've got a fair idea of which of the properties I've showed you is your favourite, but I really have no clue, so put me out of my misery, Mary.
Of the 3 properties, the last one, the mystery house, you really came up trumps. Because yes, it was a stone house. Yes, it had the right number of bedrooms and it had a lovely area which we could use as a kitchen diner. Those points made it most appealing.
The only thing that was slightly negative was the size of the garden, but the garden itself was very well laid out.
Can you get your head around the fact that it doesn't have a big garden, Mary?
I think I might be able to talk myself into it. We are getting older, so therefore why would we want a large garden? So yes, I think a compromise could be made.
Well, this is very positive. What happens next?
I have a feeling that Mary and I will need to make a second visit, which will then cement our thoughts, and from then we will start to talk to the estate agents and we'll see how we go from there.
Well, very exciting. Let me wish you the very best of luck and please let us know what happens next, won't you?
We will.
Promise we will do that.
Very best of luck.
Thank you for all your help.
It's been great.
It's been fun, hasn't it?
It has.
Right at the very start of this, one of the big priorities was the need for a big garden. But it's funny, isn't it? When we got to the mystery house, once they'd seen all the facets of their search being satisfied, like that big dining kitchen, they weren't too unimpressed with that small garden. And I'm certainly looking forward to finding out what they decide on doing next. I wish them both the very best of luck.
Richard and Mary had their second viewing of the mystery house, but after much consideration, decided factors including the small garden meant it was not the house for them. We wish them well with their continued search. If you would like to escape to the country in England, Wales, Scotland or Northern Ireland and need our help, you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.